I don't know what you use in your shop.
We're still using like Mazers.
Really? So...
That was the sign of disapproval.
No, well, it's interesting because...
Whew. All right. Morning. We're on the way now to Laytonsville, Maryland, where we're going to go visit Greg Scace, the famous NIST guru of the Scace device and all things espresso technology. So I've known Greg now since, oh gosh, must have been about 2005, when somehow John Sanders and company got to know him. Maybe it was from the forums, I'm not really sure. We're going to find out later today. Got in touch with him, and I think he was working with Bill Crossland at Marzocco, and they were developing the whole Scace device as a means to accurately measure group head temperatures inside an espresso machine. And those of you who do follow like coffee technology, the Scace device is like one of the most ubiquitous and standard pieces of equipment that you really should be owning if you want to do some measuring of your espresso machine and everything about espresso. One of the biggest reasons we're heading to see Greg is because he just received a new espresso machine for his home, the Marzocco Leva. And the Leva is this new lever type of machine that's really kind of wicked looking. Over there, what's up?
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Great.
Good to see you, good to see you. How's everything?
It's good.
Oh, okay, good. One never knows. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Wow. So how about well, that's amazing.
But it's really, here's the cat.
Oh, the cat's here. What's the cat's name?
Ginger.
Ginger
doesn't like the EK43. I think she thinks your microphone cover
is another
might
cat.
be worth eating. This cat is the murdering princess.
Oh.
Yep, see there's a dead mouse right there.
Oh, is there?
Last night she showed up here with a mouse upstairs, still alive. The night before, she showed up down here wanting to come in with a bunny that was about a third the size she is.
Wow, okay.
So, and the bunny she just let down and escaped because she did want to come in. So.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah, it was nice of her.
Oh, nice, nice. So this is the workspace?
Part of the workspace.
So what's going on? Why? I wasn't expecting so many machines.
Well, so yeah, this is kind of... So this is an interesting machine. This is, you probably never heard of Carimali. Agnieszka Rajewska
Yes.
is working on the project, and Colin Harmon.
Oh, okay, great.
So nice, good guys,
Yeah.
good people working on it. And the guy who owns Carimali's really interested in pushing coffee along. So this is their flagship machine, and it is it's really different. It is a regular, sort of a traditional single boiler machine.
Okay.
But the technology mixes the superheated water from the boiler with cold water with a high-speed mixing valve.
Oh.
And it's all done in software.
Oh, wow.
And it's really quite good.
And so, but is this also the one that has the induction?
No.
Okay,
No, this is a more traditional machine. So, you know, single boiler machines generally heat the water too hot, and you got to figure some way of cooling it down.
So it's not even
right?
heat exchange, it's just single boiler.
No, it's a heat exchanger.
Oh, okay,
machine.
sorry.
So
okay.
the water coming through is, so the boiler is a traditional steam boiler, you know, and with the heat exchangers going through, and the heat, rather than worry about maintaining as perfect heat exchanger temperature and then, you know, thermosiphons and all that crap, they have a mixing valve, and they mix cold and hot water together. And
is it more electronically done, or?
Yes, it is electronically done. And so, actually, you can't see it there, but these are, this is the dispersion block scheme that screws together, and that holds for a temperature probe.
Oh,
So there's a
okay.
temperature probe going down and measuring the temperature of the water coming into the top of the coffee, and it has, it's pretty quick software. They've been working on it, and it's ended up being quite good. And so they sent it here for me to try and get higher extraction yield out of it, and we can get over 22%.
Wow. But what allows that to happen?
Sort of work on how the water flows through the coffee in the coffee puck.
Okay. Okay.
Good temperature control and and good flow field.
Oh, okay. But
So-
is that something that can be recreated by just an average barista on a? Should someone want to do that kind of yield?
Well, I think it tastes pretty good.
Okay.
So,
okay.
yeah, 22. So there's like 30% that you could get that's actually dissolvable in most roasted coffee.
Really?
That isn't like
Okay.
really darkly roasted, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in espresso, we're talking about 20 to 22. So, to me, the interesting thing is what happened to the other 8 to 10, right?
Okay.
Where did that go, and why can't we use it?
Is it just not being utilized?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
not
okay.
being utilized.
But what's preventing us from getting that out of the coffee?
Failure to understand how water flows through coffee, and failure to get the coffee. And I can show you in a little bit.
Okay,
I
okay.
got some. I'll show you some stuff.
All
that
right,
I've been
excellent,
working on.
excellent.
Yeah, so this has been an optimization project. Up until recently, this was the grinder for everything. But then when I've always kind of wanted to have a Lynn Weber grinder.
Lynn Weber.
Yeah, it's a so who's Lynn? It's two different guys.
Okay.
They're really great designers, and so here's this crazy grinder that they. So when I got this,
This is the one I've seen photos of. Okay.
Yeah, so Akaya did the electronics for it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's got a DC variable speed DC motor up here, and it's a single dose grinder going in here and coming out underneath, and they got a really clever little workflow scheme, but it's more like super elegant design. And
Oh yes, I've seen people use these in
you've
competitions.
seen people use them, and they take this thing and they put it on top of the
the portafilter.
portafilter, and then they go like that, and they pick it off, and they just one little karate chop, and it's all perfectly flat. Yeah, it works pretty
Does
well.
that really help them get better even distribution?
Well, I think anything that does is probably better.
Okay. Okay.
So, yeah, so I haven't been using dosers, or, I've been using single shot grinders for a while now.
Mhm.
And it's always workflow is kind of a bitch,
Right.
but this is better. But all the, everything else, it seems like piles of coffee up in the center, and you got to do something with it, or
Yeah.
and so you're doing like the karate chop this way and that way, and then at first I didn't think this. Yeah, at first I wasn't a big fan of these things. I don't know if you use these.
I use something similar to that. Well, I have used something.
Yeah, and then I started using it, and I decided that I liked it, and none of it is 100%, but it all kind of.
Are you using these two in conjunction with each other? then?
Yeah, I'm using.
Okay.
It, yeah.
So this you put in here at the top, and then it comes out here.
Yeah, so this is pretty slick. So you can like weigh this guy, right? Tear it out and just slide it in there, right? So that's
Oh.
on off. It's really quiet till it grinds, and it sounds like.
And it's
hell.
grinded by weight.
Well, yeah. So I just weigh them out. Since I got like 300 of these things in the house, so I just got a bunch of them that all weigh the same, right?
Oh, these are VSTs.
No, these are just regular. These are what I make Scace devices in, right?
Oh, okay,
so I
okay.
get these things blank, and then I, get a machine, right? So I just went through and got a bunch that all weighed the same, so I only have to tare one, right?
Gotcha.
So I just weigh coffee.
So that's just a matter of just going through them all to see.
Right,
which...
you just weigh doses out, and then you throw them in here, and it comes in there, and then you just, check it with that, and then do the, usual
Okay, so I've seen this in
action.
No, I've seen it in photos.
Okay.
How awesome is this grinder? I mean, is it awesome?
Okay.
It looks badass.
It looks badass. So, grinders is a big subject, right? I mean, I don't know what you use in your shop.
We're still using like Mazers.
Really? So...
That was the sign of disapproval.
No, well, it's interesting because... Have you looked at these particle size distributions of grinders?
I've looked a little bit.
One. So there's kind of a well-known one that Matt Perger put up a few years ago in a talk, I think, and it was on Barista Hustle, and it was a Robur couple. I got it on my computer. I don't know. I'll pull it up.
Okay.
Let me show you what. Okay. This is the basic equation that governs how coffee dissolves. Okay. The rate at which it dissolves is dependent on surface area, right? So more surface area, the faster it's coming off, right? There's a specific affinity for dissolving one material into another called a diffusivity coefficient or diffusion coefficient.
Okay.
There's a length term, which is, are you familiar with boundary layers, sort of the idea?
Just very, yeah, just in passing.
Okay, and then there's a difference in concentration between dissolved coffee at the very surface of the ground coffee and coffee that's in the water.
Okay.
So here's a little cartoon of what that looks like. So here's a little coffee particle, and here's water at a certain temperature hits the coffee, right?
Okay.
And right at the coffee surface, the coffee is dissolving as fast as it can. It's regulated by that diffusivity value, which can be measured or determined analytically for some things, right? And so it diffuses and it gets carried across a region where the flow isn't going as fast as it is out here where my cursor is, right?
Okay.
So along the surface there's like drag along the surface and the flow almost is stopped. And then it goes a little faster and a little faster and a little faster and a little faster until it gets into the free stream and it's going as fast as everything else down it. This region is called the boundary layer. So in areas right here where the boundary layer is real thin, there's a big difference between the coffee in solution, the concentrate right here on the surface, and what's in the free stream, right? The maximum difference. Here where the water has no coffee in it, it's the biggest it's going to be, right?
Right.
So you've got this driver of diffusion in one direction, so it moves away from the surface, regulated by what this difference in concentration gradient value is. So if the concentration value out here was as big as the concentration value here, there'd be no net movement. There would be movement in both directions, right?
Okay.
No coffee would dissolve.
Right.
But that's not the case for what we do. So we have this particle where the stuff's shooting off in this direction. So the things that drive it are boundary layer thickness, difference in concentration between the free stream and the surface, diffusivity, and surface area. Okay, so the temperature part goes into the diffusivity because the diffusivity thing is a function of temperature where the absolute temperature is an exponent. So the shape of the curve looks like this. So in the region we're operating in, small increase in temperature makes a big increase in the affinity of the material to dissolve. And this is why cold brew takes so long to do.
Because the temperature's so low.
Yeah, because when the temperature is low, it doesn't dissolve very quickly.
Okay.
Okay? So that's where temperature comes in. Where surface area in grinders comes in is here. So here's a big boulder. This is a big Robur boulder, actually.
Oh.
This thing's giant, several hundred microns across. In a bunch of ground particles, including all these little fines here, right? Well, if you have fines that are like the shape of that guy, the surface area of this thing is on this side, and this side is really big, right? So if you had the same weight of paper in a ball, surface area is really small, right?
Okay, yes.
So the surface area of something like this is going to dissolve really, really quickly. A coffee particle shaped like...
Because it's exposed, so much
because
more
it's
exposure.
so much more exposure, so little mass, right? So all these guys get dissolved really quickly, and this guy doesn't dissolve as quickly. Consequently, these guys get over extracted, and these guys get under extracted. So, based on the established models for how materials dissolve, this signature for each grinder of fines and large boulders gives a taste difference, which is why I wanted you to bring coffee of your own that you were familiar with.
Yes, okay.
Because the EK43 grinder and that Weber grinder taste different.
Okay, okay.
Same parameters, but they taste slightly different.
Oh.
And they taste really different from a Robur.
Huh.
And so here's the Robur. Well, let's go back. So let's go back to... Shit, where's that thing? Honestly. Okay, so here's the Malcona K30, and it's got a nice little peaky guy here. Real narrow, right? And it's got, everybody's kind of got similar looking fines. You know, sort of in shape, if not complete volume. Look at that, right?
Right, right.
But look how big the Robur particle size is, how much difference there is. If we're talking 200 microns, here we're talking 8 times that over here in effective diameter, which is what that, particle diameter. So the way these machines work is it shoots the coffee across, you know, a vacuum pulls coffee across in front of a laser. And the laser images the particles, and then the software sort of resolves all these irregular shapes into what it considers an effective diameter. So something that was square would get resolved into a circle. So it's not perfect, but it's good enough.
I see. Okay.
So yeah, so the Robur's really wide, and the thinking is that these narrower grinders do better. And so there have been people that have sieved out, for example, sieved out the fines and made espresso using just this part in an effort not to get over-extracted coffee from here.
Has that proven to be better?
I don't see any. Yeah, well, that's an interesting question. So I haven't done it, so I can't tell you. But I can tell you that the same coffee brewed from an EK40 using an EK43 is different, markedly different from a Robur, and you can pick out coffee, you can pick out taste signatures. I bet somebody could do it well enough that they could tell you what grinder it was.
Wow. Okay. I didn't realize it had such a...
Everybody bitches and moans about grinders, and why do they bitch and moan about grinders? It's for this reason.
So it really is real, rather than just perception.
I think it's real.
Okay.
It has to be real.
Well, I guess if it is perception, then it is real at least at that level.
Well, we're not just making up all this stuff. I mean, that equation for dissolving of materials is widely known. It's like basic mass transfer theory you learn in engineering school.
Okay.
And coffee's no different. The things that are interesting in coffee is the fact that not only is there external surface area, there is internal surface area that you got to get to, and all kinds of stuff like that. And yes, each coffee variety, that you buy is different in how you roast it, makes it different and stuff. So it makes it tricky, and the flow through this bed of coffee gets really weird because you have places where the coffee dissolves and then it opens up. It's like a big opening faucet, right? So.
Now, does roast degree affect the porousness of the coffee as well?
Boy, I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I never. Actually, these guys took the pictures, not me.
Okay.
So.
Huh.
Yeah. So that's the area thing. That's why. So the Robur. So I've got one of these after right about the time that I went to Australia to give a talk on this shit that Cosimo asked me to do. That's how I.
Okay.
So yeah, so this is pretty good. It's different from a Robur, and it's a little bit different from an EK-43.
No, is this something they sent to you, or you bought one?
Nah, I bought it.
Wait, well, how much are these?
I don't know.
They're pretty expensive.
Yeah, it's a commercial grinder, right? What do they cost?
Well, they don't pay.
I mean, what's an EK-43 cost? What's a Robur cost?
I think I can get the wholesale price is like. Oh, Robur.
So I don't know. Yeah.
I have been wondering. They're a lot bigger than I thought they would be.
Yeah,
I've never seen one in
not
scale.
that big.
But I've never seen one like to scale. Like I've only seen like photos, and they never had anything to indicate scale.
My problem is I all of a sudden have so much machinery. I don't have any workspace.
Well, you have 4 machines now in here.
I know, and that's not even in the back. There's more.
You have more. Well, what's impressive is you're able to power all of this.
Huh? Well, I don't use them all at once. So this one is here because I build Scace devices for Simonelli machines, and I got to test them on something, right?
Okay.
And it just happens it's a really good machine anyway.
Yeah, the Aurelias are nice.
I don't know what you're using.
I use Marzocco.
This. You still got one of these?
I still have one of those.
These things are good.
Yeah, they're solid.
Yeah, they
tanks.
Are. Right. So this one is here because its use in everything is because I build Scace devices. For most things are Marzocco portafilter style.
Right.
This is the test bed.
Nice. So what's the difference between one for the Simonelli and one for the... Is it just the portafilter?
Yes.
Oh, the portafilters are offset. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay. And you just can't swap them out?
No, you can't. Well, so this is...
the basket, I mean.
Oh, yeah, you actually can.
But you're building the full one with
But if you're building it with a pressure gauge, you got it. It's in the handle, and these are These are 10 by 1.5, and those are 12 by 1.75 thread.
I keep forgetting. The one that I have predates the pressure, so
right. So
I keep forgetting about that.
You still use it?
I do. Actually, I just lent it to a buddy of mine that works for McCormick. Okay,
because I'll tell you what, things make you really nervous when you make stuff. Because the ones I see back, most people get them, and I never hear from them again, and they use them forever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there are certain people that use them for car jacks. They just beat the shit out of them, right? And you get them back, 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 and you fix them and send them back, and fix them and send them back, and fix them and send them back. And you wonder what the hell you're doing wrong. Right? But see, yours didn't break, right?
No, mine's been working fine. And
perfect.
I just sent it off to a friend of mine who works for McCormick, and he just sent me a text last night. He's like, "It's working awesome."
Oh, okay, good. And he goes, "I'll send you one."